tens or hundreds of thousands of people are going to be going through potentially like life altering, like paradigm shattering experiences over the coming years is quite worrying when you think like who's going to be there to sort of support that and hold that, versus where it was prior. And, you just had like a much smaller slither of the population, I guess, going through a kind of an awakening process and a healing journey along the same time. And I wonder whether you think about that as you like look forward and think about how we're going to be able to support like a global awakening en masse. I guess I'm worried about the potential for like overwhelm in the collective consciousness and how like that can be supported by the resources that are currently there, including like even the people listening to this that may be like healers in their own right and so forth. And I wonder whether you've thought about that in dialogue with the plant or otherwise, and if you have any reflections on it.
Well, sure. I mean, this period of time is unprecedented, and in that you're always, in the face of great uncertainty, offered a choice, and that choice comes in the form of both intention and decision. And we can either decide to try to create business as usual and kind of deny what's happening, or embrace what's happening and look for a way to actually address the problems that are going to come up with this. The people that I'm talking with that are, like you said, the heart-centered ones that are really focused on the positive side of this are deciding that what we need to do is literally join forces. And we need to, help each other extend the reach of support, healing, tools, teaching, education, et cetera, for everybody that is going through this paradigm shift, so that it ultimately doesn't become overwhelming or too much. So it's like it's this, for right now, this big wave of change has hit, and there's a huge part of the population that wants to think this is going to go back to some kind of normalcy. And then there's a whole nother group that think it's not going to. So what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of resources that are starting to become available, and people need to make themselves available to those resources, right? If we don't embrace the new resources and if we don't embrace the paradigm change, then I think we really will suffer in that dystopian way and overwhelm. And then, a lot of unfortunate negativity comes out of that, and a lot of destructiveness. And it just happens for some reason on this planet. And it's always been really kind of hard for me to understand why, but destruction is so much faster than growing something. It takes forever to grow something, and you can just destroy it so fast. Demolition is so fast compared to construction. To build a life takes a whole life, and to have a life die it can be instant. And so that paradigm of time and effort has always been a really interesting paradox to me. And so what I'm saying is that we have an opportunity here through things like Triniti and the retreats that we're doing online, and lots of other people that are also in that same field of thought and heart-centered, intention-based concept of living, to really expand the resources that are available. And we have to turn to the local resources that we have, and we have to turn to the online resources that we have. Those are really the two ways that we can relate, which is specifically on our own work, why we have turned to teaching people how to use locally found plants and locally found flowers and things like that to be able to work with, and an online medium, so that we can really create community and support each other. So what we've really been focused on doing is creating a community from people from all over the world that really transnationalizes the problem. And so all of a sudden we become a support network for everybody that's involved. And that can be from sharing wisdom to commiserating on difficulties to reminding each other of the different tools that we have available to us. And everybody relates to each other in a different way and responds to the wisdom and support that another person can offer. And that intercommunication of a community that's really based in love, based in a heart-centered support for each other, has started to grow. And I think that is a paradigm shift that can really make a difference.